I hacked open source and Linus Tech Tips. Kinda. Let me back up a little bit and tell you what happened. If you don't know, open source is a convention that happens in San Francisco, and it's basically like a giant science fair slash maker fair slash creator convention. It was founded by William Osman 3 years ago, and almost every content creator in the science and technology and engineering world are all there. But leading up to open source this year, William Osman actually announced that they were going to be launching Sauce Plus, which is their premium streaming platform where they were going to be hosting all the panels from open source this year, as well as all the panels from previous years and a bunch of other exclusive content. I decided to purchase a membership to Sauce Plus because I wanted to be able to go back and watch some of the panels from the convention, and also I just really like Will and everything that he's doing with open source, and I wanted to support him and his team and what they're doing so it keeps happening. Once I signed up for Sauce Plus though, I couldn't help myself and I decided to poke around a little bit. As a security researcher, I do this kind of thing a lot. Whenever there's a new website or an app that I'm using, I might open up Burp Suite and just kind of poke around, see if there's anything interesting going on there. Quick disclaimer though, if you start doing this and looking into anything that does not have an established bug bounty program, be careful. I only did some very passive API analysis and didn't do any active exploitation, because that's the kind of thing that can get you into trouble. While I was poking around and doing a little research on the platform, I did find out that the backend of the service is actually based on Floatplane, which is the premium platform that is made by Linus Media Group, aka Linus Tech Tips. That's beside the point, not really that relevant, but I just thought that was interesting. I didn't go too in-depth with my analysis on Sauce Plus. I probably only spent like an hour or two on it, but it didn't take me long before something caught my attention. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but basically there was a misconfiguration that was exposing both my email address and my password whenever I was logging into the application. I found a couple other small things as well, but that was like the main thing in the short amount of time I spent looking at it that I was like, this is kind of a problem. So like any responsible member of the security community should do, I wrote up a quick little report with some screenshots and details about what I found, and I sent them an email. At the time that I sent this email, it was only a couple days before I was flying out to San Francisco, so this was less than a week before open source was scheduled to start. I'm sure the whole team was super slammed trying to get everything ready in time for the convention, so I was super surprised when I actually got an email back within 24 hours telling me that they really appreciated me taking the time to look at this and to report this, and that it was actually on their agenda to talk about on their meeting with the developer team later that day. Keep in mind that this is a very small platform that is probably run by a tiny team. I don't know how much William and his team are directly involved with Sauce Plus, or if it's entirely the Linus Media Group and the Floatplane team. But either way, this is a very small operation. They just don't have all those resources that a massive corporation like Google or Amazon or any of those companies would have. So taking all those factors into consideration, I was very impressed that they responded at all, much less so quickly. So fast forward a few days, I go to open source, have a great time. It was awesome. I got to see a bunch of really cool projects. I got to meet a bunch of really awesome creators in the engineering and tech world, some of whom I've been following for years. After I got home, I did do a quick check just to see if they had fixed anything that I had reported. Turns out they hadn't actually fixed anything yet at that point, but at that point it had only been like a week since I originally reported it, so I wasn't really that surprised. Even when working with really huge corporations that have massive development teams, they still take a couple weeks to fix these kind of things usually whenever you report them. Fast forward a little bit more, a couple more weeks pass, I get back into the daily grind of work and life and everything, and I kind of forget about the whole thing. Then the other day, I randomly decided I might as well go back and look at Sauce Plus to see if they fixed anything that I reported. And it turns out that they actually fixed it. That misconfiguration that I mentioned that was exposing my email address and password when I logged in, that's no longer there. They fixed that. I don't know when exactly they fixed it because, like I said, I wasn't really checking it day to day. I was kind of moving on and wasn't thinking about it. But it was less than a month from the time that I submitted the report and when I noticed that it was fixed. So I really want to commend the Sauce Plus team. Again, I don't know what parties are fully involved and to what extent. Whether that's the open source team or Linus Media Group or whoever is responsible for implementing these kind of fixes, they did a great job of responding and implementing this fix in a very quick timeline, even when compared to some of those large companies with many more resources. Also, for anyone who is interested in doing bug bounty hunting or responsible disclosures like this, I would recommend looking at more sites like this with a paywall or some sort of barrier for entry. Obviously, you don't want to pay for more subscription services that you don't need. We probably all already have way too many of those to begin with. But if there's a platform that you are already interested in using, or maybe they offer a free trial to access some subscription features, that's a great excuse to take a look at some platform that maybe not a lot of people have looked at before. Every newbie hacker has dreams of finding these massive vulnerabilities in like Google or Facebook or all these big companies where you're going to get a massive bounty payout and you're going to make headlines and all those kind of things that you think about. But realistically, there are thousands of pen testers and bug bounty hunters who have already spent probably collectively hundreds of thousands of hours combing through these apps to try to find these vulnerabilities already. So your odds of finding something that they didn't find are pretty low. You have much better odds of finding something if the target you're looking at hasn't already had a ton of eyes on it. Whether that means it's just a smaller platform that doesn't have as much attention as something like Google or Facebook or Netflix or something like that, or if that means that there's just some sort of barrier for entry to access the platform, like a paywall, or maybe it only works on certain devices, or it's only accessible in certain countries, things like that that just mean less people have had access to it. Just something to keep in mind if you're a struggling bug bounty hunter. You're going to have a lot easier time finding treasure if you're looking in places that haven't already been searched.